Well, hey, Tracy Nelson here with Creation Adventures, and today, if you're joining me, I'm going to go over step by step how to build a ground blind, and it won't cost you hardly anything, okay? And what I like to do on the properties that I hunt, I like to build a series of ground blinds, because when I am deciding to do a stalk hunt or a still hunt, sometimes what I will do is I will stalk to one of these blinds, and then I may get in that blind and rest for a little bit and sit for maybe 30 minutes or 45 minutes, get my legs back up under me, and then I may continue on to the next blind. Well, this blind, when you're thinking about where to put a blind with a rifle, it's not as important as, of course, with a bow, because I'm not setting up for a 20-yard shot. I mean, I'm setting up where I can see trails and feeding areas, and really is trying to see as much area as I can. But if you'll look, and you can't really appreciate this right now, but you'll just kind of scan you around and see. I'm on the side of a hill. It's pretty steep back behind me, and I'm really thinking about this for a morning deer hunt, and this is why. First of all, it seems like the deer will be in the woods more in the morning, early part of the day. And the second thing is because I am on the side of a mountain, the thermals, as the air warms, the thermals will be coming up the mountain, and my main hunting area is in front of me in this, if I do this blind right here, okay? And also to my left is north, and we get a lot of northeast winds during the winter, and so I'll be good with a north wind and a northeast. Well, northeast maybe not so great, but a north wind I'll be good. And this has been a hot area for many years. And what you can't see because of the leaves right now is that there's a field, an old field right down here that gets a lot of activity. And I know for a fact that deer, they'll travel this way across that field, and they'll also go up and down the mountain and cross that old field. And the old field's grown up pretty bad right now, but it's still getting used a lot. It's got some food in there called autumn olive, which is actually an invasive exotic plant that wildlife managers, unfortunately like myself, recommended to landowners years ago. And the stuff will really spread and kind of take over an area. But it is a good deer food. And turkeys like it too. I think bears like the berries also. And from what I understand, the berries make some good jam. Anyway, here are my tools today. I've got a tomahawk. This is a cold steel, what's the color? A trail hawk, I believe. Anyway, I've had it for years. It served me well. And I've got a pair of post hole diggers. And what I'm going to do is dig, or I'm going to build what's called a pit blind. I'm going to dig a hole in the middle of this blind, and it's going to be deep enough where my feet can go down in that hole, and I sit level on the ground almost like I'm sitting in a chair without a back on it, unless I build some kind of back. Okay, it's very comfortable, and it's low profile. And then I'll kind of show you how that goes in just a second. Okay, so the first thing I had to do is locate where I want to put my blind. And like I said, I know this is like a major intersection for deer traffic all around in here. Plus, I'm surrounded by hardwoods, which are producing, there's red oaks, white oaks, chestnut oaks, and they're all producing lots, plentiful, has a plentiful acre crop this year, acorn crop. So the first thing I had to do was locate my area. But then, as you can see over here, I went and cut some poles what these poles will do is I'm going to go from this tree to this tree to that tree, and I'm going to have a triangle. And so my first order of business, well, the first order of business is to figure out where I want my hole, where I want to sit at. It doesn't have to be in the center. If you want a backrest, I could go to this tree right here. I could put my hole pretty close to this tree. But the problem, anytime you get closer to a tree, guess what you may encounter? Well, you may encounter some roots. So that's to be taken into consideration. Alright, so this can be a lot of fun and a really good experience to do with a young person who's getting into hunting, because this is not only teaching somebody how to go out and shoot a deer, you're teaching them woodsmanship by doing stuff like this, because we're going to use knots. As you can see, I've already used some axemanship using my little tomahawk, which is, it's not something somebody's using. Most people are not using axes and stuff on a daily basis. So you're teaching that and how to be safe with, a cutting tool like a tomahawk, using knots, and then we're going to, it's putting together your scouting, your making decisions on where to put it, and then putting these other skills together. Of course, I'll be using my knife too, so there'll be some knifemanship too. So anyway, I'm gonna get these cross pieces up and get this hole dug, and we'll go from there. So I have my hole dug. Man, it's comfortable sitting here. If I get tired, if my back gets to hurting, if I've been here a long time, I can just move without being seen, back up there and rest my back on that tree, just back up in there. But look, I put this up so I could prop my rifle comfortably and shoot downhill, okay? Got me a prop there. Now here I'll have to turn and kind of get up like this to prop. That's okay. My back wall needs to be my highest, because if I get deer coming from behind me, I don't want them to be able to look down in my blind and see me. So I've got that wall higher than the other ones. Also, look, if I have a deer in front of me and I can't see him while I'm sitting, all I have to do is just ease up like this right here. I have a prop on this tree, and get steady to make my shot. Alright, so I've got the walls, the side pieces, my side rails, and now you can see I've started. All I'm going to do is lean up dead branches all along the wall. Okay? Now somebody's probably saying, that's a lot of trouble. But this, here again, let's go back to I like the whole experience, the whole deer hunting experience. And because I like being in the woods. It's such a blessing to be in the woods. And so here again, just like when I make a homemade knife or something else, you're taking part in the hunt. In other words, you have more skin in the game. You've got more skin in the game now. And so when I kill a deer out of this, I can know and be thankful to the Lord that I scouted, that I put it in the proper place, that He brought the deer in, and I was able to make the shot to kill it. And so it's more meaningful. To me, you may say it doesn't matter to you, but and here again, if you have a young person and they're putting something into it besides just showing up and sitting in a shooting house, nothing wrong with that, except what I see is is young hunters, if they show up, they sit in the shooting house, you know, they really haven't got anything involved besides showing up and maybe learning how to shoot a little bit, and they shoot a deer and it's almost like anticlimactic. Whereas if they have something in it, they've gone with you in the woods, they've looked around, they've learned to read some deer sign, and they'll appreciate it more. And see, that's the key. We want to teach young people to be thankful for the natural resources that God has given us, the world of creation. When I started deer hunting in 1979, get that leaf out of the way. I went 3 years without killing a deer. 3 years without ever killing my first deer. Killed that first deer in 1982, and but I remember hunting hard in the 80s, and I might hunt hard and only see, you know, 10 or 12 deer all year long. In other words, if you've got 1 deer a year, you are considered a good hunter. And so we've come a long way from that, but still we need to appreciate and share this with our young people, to give them this deep appreciation for the world of creation. Because guess what? People that appreciate the world of creation will work to protect that world and to practice good conservation. Because it means something to them, because they feel, for me, I feel closer to the Creator when I'm in His creation. I do, and most of you do too. Today it's just a wonderful blessing to be out here doing this. I mean, some people would say, well, that's a lot of work. You know what? Work is a blessing. God gave us work in the beginning, in the garden, before the curse, before the fall of man. Work was the thing that God gave. And it is a blessing to be healthy enough to get out here and to build this blind. So I'm going to fill this in. There's no use for you to watch all that. You get the general idea. And then what we'll do is, after I get it completed, we'll back up and I'll let you get a view of what the deer will see when they come through this hollow. Okay? Awesome.